Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our new coach training webinar. This is session number 5, Enter the No Puke Zone, where we're going to talk about sharing the business effectively with people. Tonight you get 2 for the price of 1. My wife Tammy here and myself will be walking through this training this evening. What you are going to need, and we want to encourage you to get, is a notepad with a pen and paper. Write down any questions that you might have, but I think more importantly tonight as we go through this information, you're probably going to want to jot down as many notes as possible as well. As we look at how to share the business effectively. So many new coaches, when they get started, are like, well, how do I share this? How do I build this business? How do I get this thing going? And with some specific questions that we'll actually answer tonight on how we build the business. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you being with us tonight to learn about how to grow and develop your business and sharing it effectively. So we're going to go ahead and start out. We have grown our business, and we're going to talk about how we, Tammy and I, have done that with Team Beachbody. Here's the reality. There are many different ways that you can grow your business. You can find the techniques, obviously, that work best for you and that fit your personality and abilities. That's what we want you to do, is we want you to find what works best for you. There are other great people to learn from. You know, of course, Craig Holliday, Larry Zimberg, MJ Durkin. You can find their information, their resources in the online office. A lot of what you'll hear is probably a lot of what they share. There are some other things that are a little bit different, and that's okay, because that's how Tammy and I have developed this business. One thing we want to do tonight is we want to make sure that we're real with you. And the only thing we're going to share is what we have actually done and how we have grown the business. And so that's what we'll share. But again, there are other ways to do this. Ours isn't the only way, nor is it the right way. It's just one way. And that's what we'll be sharing tonight. So the first thing that we really want to emphasize is that we all need to remember that it's about relationship first. I believe that. Tammy believes that. That's how we've built and grown and developed our team. And so we want to make sure that that is obviously the foundation of how we grow and develop our team and teach our coaches to do that as well. I really think that's why we have one of the fastest growing, largest organizations within the company, is because we really focus on relationship. And as you look in the chat box, people are talking about love. And there you go. That explains it all. So let's walk through a few points here as we look at this relationship issue and what we're going to actually be addressing tonight. You know, some coaches get so excited. You get involved in this business. You're so excited about the potential of where it can go. And then those coaches share so much information that it turns people off. We actually call that throwing up on people.
I didn't know you had that picture. That's great.
You like that? Yeah.
I love that.
That's kind of a nice way of doing throwing up. But it's throwing up on people. It's like you're so excited you just share it all, and then the person walks away going, man, what was that
it
all about?
Them. Yeah.
It's overwhelming. So there are people and new coaches that react that way. Most people really fear what others might think. And that keeps them from sharing or doing anything. The fear of the unknown, and so a lot of times that just paralyzes people. And so, you know, we just, really want to address that tonight as well, and providing tools for you not to be afraid. Because if you're passionate and you know what Team Beachbody can do in changing people's lives, you can't not but share it in your life. Plus, there are others that just don't know what to say. They get involved, they're a brand new coach, and so they say nothing at all. And it absolutely paralyzes their business. And so, again, we'll be walking through tools to be able to help you with that. Now, always remember that in any situation, be true to who you are. Understand that we want you to be who you are. You were talking about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, just because doesn't mean you have to turn in. It's just
oh, that's right.
Just
multiple personalities.
Right. You don't have to have multiple personalities. When you talk about Beachbody, you just talk to somebody like you're sharing about a great movie you just saw. Same thing. You just share about your great fitness program that you're so excited about.
And yeah, I love the multiple personality type thing, because it's some people, it's like you're sitting down, you're talking on the big red couch, and you're hanging out, and then all of a sudden when their mind is on Beachbody, boom, they turn into a whole other person. And that's not what we think it's about. We think it's about being who you are, being real, being passionate, and just sharing it in everyday life. So the next point points to that. It's don't go out and share the business. In other words, don't go out with the intention of sharing and building the business, but share the business while you're out. In other words, live life. You know what I'm saying? And as the opportunity comes about, you share it. Don't try and force the business into your relationships or the situation you're in. Allow it to come about and prompt it, obviously, but don't try to force it into your business. And then remember that signing up a coach is not about life or death. There are so many coaches like, man, if I don't sign this person up, it's all going to be over. No, it's not. This is a long process. Building a business and developing relationships and having success takes consistency and discipline over a long period of time. And that's how you'll be successful as you build the business. It's not about life or death. It's about learning, growing, and developing relationships. Then ask yourself this question, and I always ask people this, and I share this on our webinars. How would you feel if you were in that person's shoes? So in other words, if you're talking to somebody about Beachbody, how would you just picture yourself being on the other end, and then let that determine, is this how I would want to then be continuing to share the opportunity with them? Am I making them feel uncomfortable, pressured? Am I being boring? Have I just thrown up on them? And you determine then what you need to do at that point, how to change the situation. And then how do you want to be viewed in the eyes of people after you share the opportunity? We have always had the opinion that we don't want to walk down the mall and have people turn around and run from us because of the way that we build our business. We want it to be built in a way that they come to us because of the relationship. So how do you want to be viewed by others after you do it? And then this is yours, big one.
Plant the seed and be patient. I can't tell you how many people that Doug and I have talked to Beachbody about over the years, been involved, and a lot of those people actually that we brought it up to in the beginning didn't do anything right away, but like a year later came back and asked us, "What? I'm ready." Or we talked about too earlier today, just being consistent or lifestyle. To work out and be excited about that and sharing about that, eating healthy. Stay consistent because you plant that seed with someone, they're going to be watching you. So it might take someone a year to decide to join your team. The thing is, I've had coaches join. I think I have one on tonight, actually. Yes, comment. My good friend Sherry in Nashville, she was one of my customers. She then became one of my coaches. And she didn't do anything or grow the business for how long, Sherry? Would you say a year? But she kept paying her $14.95 every month and ordered things here and there. And then all of a sudden, she was ready. And now she's almost a diamond coach. So she signed up and didn't do anything for 10 months. Now she is she's on fire. So.
Yeah, you just never know, and that's why it's constantly planting the seed and allowing people. It's like this, there are many businesses out there that provide a service or a good, and you don't need to go to them every day. I don't need to get my oil changed every day, and so I don't need to go. I don't know. I bought T-shirts for Sydney tonight, underwear. You don't have to buy that every day, but you need to know who you can go to. And if you're not prepared and still a coach and still in this thing and building the business, if people do come to you when they do have their need and when they are ready and you're not ready, you lose that opportunity to build your business. So be consistent, keep planting those seeds, and be patient. Now, we're going to walk through a couple of important resources that we think are extremely important in building your business. And then it will answer a lot of questions as well as we walk through the rest of the presentation tonight. First of all, there is a game plan training section now in your online office that is absolutely incredible. You can find it under news and training. And then on the left-hand side where the arrow's pointing, it's called Game Plan Training. It's been completely revamped. There is so much good information about what we're talking about tonight and so many other things. You need to spend time back in the office under the Game Plan Training section. The other is what's called the Training for Success Guide. This literally, most people don't know about this guide. It is an extensive guide of how do you build your business. Everything from how to set up your office to what supplies do you need, how to run your time, how to talk to people, how to deal with rejection, how to deal with questions people have, and it just walks through everything. That can be found in the Game Plan Training section, and I really want to encourage you to print that off and start utilizing that resource. And the video library. The reason why the video library is so important is we have videos on everything. How to build the business, all of our product line, training, recognition, success stories, things that will impact people's lives, and videos and stories that you'll want to get in the hands of potential customers and coaches in the future. So know that that's also in the back office, and do some research. Just start watching some of those things. There are some great videos that have changed people's lives as they've watched them. And also know that when you email out a video, Your direct coach links are embedded in that email. So anytime they do anything, right, it's going to open up your web page. If they want to sign up to become a coach, purchase a product, it'll be attributed back to you as their coach. Now, one of the things that we talked about today, as Tammy and I were really going through this and saying, what are the things that are important to know about before we actually get into some scenarios of how to build your business relationally? The first thing you need to do is you need to know your why. Why? Why, Tammy? Any thoughts?
You need to know your
I mean,
why.
I'm just throwing it to you. You're the color commentator. No.
I'm just here to add comic relief. So knowing your why is the deep-seated personal emotion why you are building your why this is important to you, and it will drive you every you keep your why posted somewhere where you can read it every single.
Yeah, your why is extremely important. It will drive you to do whatever it takes to succeed. That's the whole point. If you don't have a why established in your life, the first rejection you get, many coaches don't have that deep-seated why, and they fall back and either quit or get discouraged, and they never build the business. You know, we always tell the story about establishing your why. Craig Holliday shared a great word picture of what does it mean to have a why? What does it look like? And the best picture scenario that I can come up with is what Craig had shared with us. Imagine that you're at work one day and you're driving home and you come up on, you turn the corner and come up on your house and it's engulfed in flames. And you come up and you're asking people around and the firefighters are there and say, hey, nobody's inside, your house is engulfed in flames, there's nothing we can do, we're going to try to put it out. And most people are not going to go inside for, papers and pictures and, the big red couch, because your life would be put in danger. Let's change that scenario up a little bit. Let's say you're at work, you turn the corner, you come home, your house is in flames, you come up on the house, and the firefighters say, hey, we're working really hard, one of your children are inside. Does that change the picture for you a little bit? For me, it does. I would be doing all I could, breaking through that line and breaking through the house to find my child, to get them out. Now, here's the correlation. Your why needs to be that child in the fire. What is that one reason, or two reasons, or three reasons that will cause you to do anything it takes to build this business? For us, it was to be able to have that freedom of time, to be able to spend time with my kids, with my wife, the way I wanted to. And I busted my tail for 7.5 months to do that on top of our full-time job. And we've achieved that, and it's allowed us to have that free time and to be able to do the things I want to do with my kids. So establish that why it's important. The other one is to know your story. It's extremely important to be able to know how to share how Beachbody's impacted your life, because your story shares with others how it truly has impacted your life. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have a Beachbody story yet. I don't have a transformation. That's okay. You don't need one, because there's a reason why you got involved with Beachbody to begin with. That is your story. It shares your fitness and financial success. Maybe it's just your hopes or dreams. I got involved with Beachbody because I need to lose 20 pounds, and I've just started, and I've lost my first pound, and I'm going to get there. Maybe that's your only story. But it shares those hopes and dreams so that you can talk with other people about it, and they know what you do and what you're passionate about, and that they can come to you and purchase a product or sign up to become a coach when they're ready. But they're not going to know about it unless you're able to tell your story quickly and concisely. It needs to be between 1 minute and 2 minutes long. That's it. We were trained on this at the very beginning with Milan Jensen, of telling your story quickly and passionately so people at least know who you are. The reality is this: once you develop your story and you have it, you are going to truly impact people's lives. You're going to relate to people differently than I do. You're going to relate to somebody that I can't relate to. Tammy's going to relate to people that you can't relate to. You may have some kind of disease or issue or struggle. You may have overcome some obstacle in your life that will relate directly back to somebody else. And that's going to be the motivation that they're going to have to move on with their life. You're going to impact people in this business. And that's the cool thing about what we get to do. We got stories the last couple of days of how we've impacted people's lives through this business. And there is nothing greater than knowing that you've had that type of impact in somebody's life that makes a difference. Now, knowing your story, there's a great resource, again, in your online office under the game plan training. This one is specifically a tool to help you establish and create your own story from the fitness side and the business side. It is awesome. It'll take you just a couple of minutes to go to, but it's on this page. You can click on, I believe it's, sharing your story in the first impression, and it'll walk you through these tools. So again, write this information down, go back to that online office, get in that game plan area, and utilize these tools because it'll truly help you build your business. And then know your third-party tools. You want to talk about these? Because I got some coming up.
She doesn't. In my throat, so I'm going to let you.
She's never seen these slides, so how about that for a first one?
I can wing it.
That's right. This is a great new resource that you need to watch if you haven't. It's in the online office. It's the brand new presentation. It's called Introducing Team Beachbody. Tremendous video that I think does the best job of any tool that we have to date in sharing the complete opportunity of fitness and business of Beachbody. That's about 23 minutes long. You can use it in if you ever have home parties, events, one-on-one, you can email it to people, but get in your online office and watch it. There's also the Shakeology from the Fields. It's a great video that talks about how Shakeology is developed and the products put into it. It's a wonderful video that will help people that are considering Shakeology to purchase. Audio file called The One Thing I Tell My Patients. We've got over 100 doctors, is that right? Sharing in an audio file, a portion of them talking about why it's important to take Shakeology and how it's impacted their patients and why they are recommending it to their patients as well. So that's great for customers, for coaches, for potential customers and coaches, and so on. P90X gear, any type of gear, any logo wear, Turbo Fire, Chalene Extreme, Turbo Jam, Hip Hop Abs, Insanity. P90X is big. You need to know your third-party tools. Wearing a crazy shirt like that truly can bring you business, and we'll talk about that in a minute. There's catalogs, so you can share the opportunity and videos and products and supplements with people. And then obviously we have the Decide and the Beachbody Solution DVDs that talk about specifically about the business success stories, also about the products and success stories as well. Those are some of the main third-party tools you need to be aware of as you're building this business. And then the last thing we wanted to really throw in here is business cards. We didn't talk, but you texted me and you said, make sure you put this slide in here. So why do you think this is so important?
It's great. You need to have business cards because anytime the subject comes up, you need to have something to hand to somebody how to contact you. And you can see all the different examples it does. Simple, clean, but gives them the information back to you.
And just like Kristen's saying in the chat box here, you can go in the Beachbody office. There's a coach resource center where you can actually order the Team Beachbody cards right there if you want to. If you want to go to a place like Vistaprint or a cheaper place, or maybe you have a local print shop that'll do it, just do it. You don't have to have a before and after picture if you don't feel comfortable with that. That's not the point. The point is when you're out and about living life and people ask you about it and you start up a conversation, you need to have something that points them to how they can get in touch with you. Right. That's what these cards do. The other one that we have is a great resource that we use to point people to our webinar opportunity presentation every Sunday night. And you can copy this if you want to. Take a screenshot of it, copy it. I have a lot of coaches that just copy the very same information. And then when you're out and about and you're sharing the opportunity, if you don't have time or if you just want to give them the card, say, listen, we'd love for you to join our live presentation webinar on Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Here's the web address. Just join. There's no obligation. So those are just a couple of examples of cards that you can use to make sure that people know who you are and how to get a hold of you. So we're going to start really talking about specifics of how to build this business without puking on people, hopefully, because trust me, we've been there. We did that the first year. It was it was messy at times, but as you grow and develop, you learn how to build this business in a way that's not that way. Okay, the first thing we want you to do, and coaches ask me all the time, what do we do right away in sharing the opportunity? How do we go about it? Well, here's what we did when we came back from California from the founders meeting when we had no resources. We talked to people that we loved and trusted, okay? So I want to encourage you to initially identify people that you truly trust. Now, make a contact list. And this is in your Get Started Right guide. Make a contact list of all people that you know in your warm market initially. And what does that mean? Well, it's people like your friends, your family, your coworkers. You're like, oh, Doug, not the friends and family thing again. Yes, the friends and family thing. Here's why. trust me, if people have had a raw experience with the friends and family situation, it's because the presentation wasn't shared in a way that was comfortable and non-pressuring. It was awkward, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But make a contact list. You should have at least 50 to 100 people on a contact list easily. You could probably do that in about 2 or 3 minutes. Make sure you do that. And then you can also find a memory jogger tool to find names and remember people that you know in the game plan training section. I'm going to keep referring you back to that section. It's a great tool to create this list of contacts. Out of that list of contacts, I want you to identify 5 of those people that you truly trust. You want to share with them first. And here's the reason why. When we came back from California, I identified 5 people and talked to them, and I just simply said this. I think there's something awesome going on with this Beachbody thing. I would love to get your opinion on it. Do you have a couple of minutes I can share it with you? That was it. And my buddies, my friends, said, well, sure. I mean, come on over, or we met for lunch or whatever it was, and we shared the opportunity. All 5 of them signed up. It was a no-brainer, they said, because we did it in a way, and what I did was I asked for their opinion on it. I didn't pressure them. I didn't force anything on them. I just wanted to know what they thought about it. And then you brought up a good point today as well on that. Remember we were talking about, you said maybe allow them to practice on them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Sharing the opportunity.
When, have a home party or you have a group of people over, instead of telling them you want to out this business opportunity, you can also say, hey, I just joined us Beachbody. I'm so excited. I need to practice the presentation. Would you guys come over and practice with you back when I'm finished? And what friend is not going to want to do that for you? We've done that for friends before. Just wanted to practice their like, will you listen to me and just critique me? Have your friends do that for you, and probably several of them are. I want some of that.
Yeah, so I think it's a great way too. Again, it's all about living life and finding a way to do it that's not pressuring. Again, putting yourself in their shoes, sharing the opportunity of what you're passionate about because you want them to. The point is this: when you're talking to people, you need to simply be the 30-second commercial for the 30-minute presentation. That's it. It's like Tammy talked about. When you're excited about a movie, you know, all you have to say is, man, did you see that movie? And what movie? Well, that one movie, man, it was really cool. And, man, you need to go see that movie. And I tell people that all the time. It's the same thing with Beachbody. You don't believe how incredible Beachbody is and how they've changed my life. I started out with Power 90. I lost 35 pounds. I did P90X. I lost some more weight, and then I put on a bunch of muscle mass. That's how I've grown and developed. That's a 10-second story right there. But that's how, and the point is this too. When you're out sharing the opportunity and talking about it, all you need to do then is point them to the presentation. That's why we have that one card that simply points them to the webinar. You can point them to a recorded webinar. You can get their information and send them the email of the brand new Introducing Team Beachbody video. There are all kinds of things that you can do. You can hand them a DVD to get them interested so that they watch the presentation, and then send them to an opportunity webinar like I talked about and get that information in their hands and then follow up with them, okay? And this is the question. You need to follow up in a way that encourages them to respond to you in a positive way. So ask them, what did you like best about what you saw tonight? What did you like best about what you saw in the video? And they'll say, man, I like that workout program. I've always wanted that P90X. You say, you know, I can get you that P90X. Or, you know, they may say, well, man, I could use some extra money, and it sounds really interesting, but I just don't know if I can do this. You know, that's where you can start the conversation of saying, yeah, this is where I've been. I understand that, and here's how you can get involved. You can do a 3-way call with your upline coaches. I've done that with several coaches. That is just a validation, because a lot of people are going to have questions. Be patient. For a lot of people, it's going to take a day or two or a week or two for them to make a decision to become a coach. That's okay. I've heard all kinds of other scenarios where you try to pressure them into it. I don't believe in that. I believe you share with people, and if they're interested and they're truly interested in getting involved, they will get involved. It may take them a day or two or 10 or 20 or whatever it takes, but let them have that time to make for people, it's a big decision. If you think about how you got involved, when we got involved and it was free and we were asked by the CEO to get involved, I initially told him no. And he said, come on, just listen to this and tell me what you think. And we were uncomfortable initially with it. It took us a while to get fully on board. And you've got to understand, put yourself in people's shoes. It's going to take them a while sometimes to get involved. I was speaking with a couple last night who want to get involved, decided to become a coach. And so we finished up the call. I said, the next time I'm going to hear from you, if you want to become a coach. And they're like, oh, yeah, next day or so, we're going to make a decision and we'll contact you back. And that's how it goes. And 9 times out of 10, they contact us back because we spend time building that relationship with people. And then the final thing, which you cannot take for granted, is ask them to join your team. Don't be afraid. Don't just leave it open-ended, right? What'd you like best? Well, I really like that business opportunity. Great. Have a good night. Yeah, don't do that. Just say, hey, I would love for you to be part of my team. Would you join my team? Most people want to be asked. I do that naturally, but I didn't realize that we were taught that down at the Dallas Summer of Success tour in August. And one of the coaches got up and said the thing that's changed her business this last year in the number of coaches she signed up is she started asking people at the end to just, would you sign up to become a coach? And it changed the business. And it's just kind of what we do. We just ask people and always offer. So ask people to join because people want to be part of something. And want to be asked to be part of something, and you have that opportunity. The second thing we're going to talk about then what we did, once we got our initial coaches signed up, we just started having home parties and grand opening parties. Called grand opening parties now, but that's all we knew it better to do. I didn't want to do it. Tammy goes, that's the only thing people around here want to do because they want to kick the tires a little bit and know that this thing is real. So there you go. You've got our little table there with all of our presentation stuff and our computer and the way we set up the room down there in the left-hand bottom corner. I mean, look how tight that was. That was the smallest house in the world. And we could get about 9 people in there, and that was about it. And it was absolutely packed. But we did it, okay? We decided that we were going to host a home party. We got our other coaches rallied around us, right? And those first few coaches, we said, we're going to do this every single week. Join us. We'll provide the opportunity, and we'll be here. We're going to be here for a year. Let's give it a shot. So every week we did a home party in our home for a year, and we reevaluated at that time. So what we wanted to do in that process is, well, what do we have to do to do these home parties because we've never done them before? Well, obviously you need to invite people. People are a good thing at a home party. But what we found is invite them in person or on the phone. Don't email them and expect them to come. They're not going to come. They'll delete the email and they'll go on with their life. But if you call them and talk to them, they will provide that. They're going to be more likely to actually come. Set up your products on a display. We did it on our table. It doesn't look that great there, but provide, have samples if you want to of really good tasting Shakeology or the bars. Light snacks if you want to do that. Have a computer on hand if they want to sign up. Handouts that tell them about upcoming meetings, when you're going to meet next, and the events. People want to know, new coaches want to know, can I come to a place where somebody else will do the storytelling for me so I don't have to do it? And if they see that that opportunity is available and you're providing that, then coaches feel a lot more comfortable in building their business. And then use a PowerPoint presentation or play the Introducing Team Beachbody DVD for your presentation. It's that simple. And then open the party by introducing yourself, sharing your story, casting a vision for growing your team of coaches in your area. It's so important. Especially if you don't have much going on in your area. Stand up in front of them and say, listen, there is something going on with this Beachbody thing. It has taken over the country. We're going to go international with this deal. I want to take Lincoln, Nebraska for Beachbody. I'm taking it across the goal line. I would love for you to join me. People need to know that there's a leader. People will follow a leader if they're leading. And casting a vision is a great way to begin the process of leading and creating a team because they can rally around that and they can be part of something significant. I have a product and business testimony if you want to. If there are other coaches there that can share a 2-minute story about how Shakeology's changed their life or about how the business has allowed them to do certain things that they haven't been able to do before. Try to keep it at an hour or less. Close by asking people to join your team. It's the same thing in person. It's the same thing at an event or a party. Use a computer to sign up new coaches. If you're going to serve snacks or samples, do it after the party so people aren't distracted. And then have party resources that Beachbody has created. Those can be found again in the game plan training section. There's a lot of good information. Let me give you a good little tip. Jeff Doster, one of our coaches here in Lincoln, they started doing grand opening parties, which basically is, if you open up a new business, you do a grand opening party so that people know you're in business. So what they did was they rallied around each other, 2 or 3 coaches initially, said, Jeff's going to host his first grand opening at his house. And they invited all their friends. And then the next coach was going to host his party, so they all went and supported him at his house, invited more people. And that domino effect kept going on, which created a team of coaches. What a great idea. A great way to support each other and build a team at the same time. Now, the last thing we want to talk about and really touch upon this evening, because we talked about how we got started, how we got our first few coaches, how we started doing regular meetings and trainings. Now, what we want to talk about is specific techniques when you meet new people. Because when you meet new people, that's how you're going to be able to share the opportunity, obviously. You need to be able to be out there while you're living life and know how to incorporate Beachbody in the conversation, not make it the center focal first point of the conversation, but incorporating it into the conversation. So this is what we do, and these two things are pretty much about all we do when we're out and about. The first thing is wear P90X gear, okay? That gets the party started when you're talking to people. Okay, here's my confession. It was about a year and a half ago at our son's baseball party. And somebody had challenged me to wear P90X tank. And I had never done it before. I just hadn't worn my stuff out. I'm like, I do it. I love it. But they're like, no, listen, try it because people will ask you about it. It's the weirdest thing. So I put the tank on. I went to the party. Afterwards, we went to a restaurant. And we walked in and we started ordering. And during the order, she said, is that like the P90X on TV? I'm like, yeah. She said, does that work? And I said, absolutely, it works. I mean, look at my card. Here's my before and after. See, I just pulled out my card, which had my before and after on it. I already was able to give her my information by that comment. And I said, sure, it works. It's great. She goes, well, I'm getting married in a few months, and I thought about using it and getting it. Great. Go to my website and purchase the product. She got P90X. Okay. I said, Fluke. Okay, Fluke. I'm going to wear it the next day. Same thing happened when I was out, and I can't remember where I was at that time. Went out, somebody asked about P90X, does it work? Handed them the card, and then I started doing it whenever I go to hotels. And whenever I go to gyms, I'd wear my P90X tank every time. And so I have my card, DVDs, and people start asking about it. It's the craziest phenomenon. So seriously, it does work. Ask if they're using P90X too in the conversation. So if somebody asks you about about P90X or any other product, please understand this. Make the conversation about them, not you. It's so easy to get focused on yourself and not them. So if they say, hey, you're doing P90X, say, yeah, are you doing it too? And if they say yes, ask how they like it. Ask what their results are. Let them tell their story. Because in listening to hear their story, you're going to be able to come back and share more information with them. Find out what the results have been. Again, let them tell their story. And tell them that we're always looking for people who love the program, who have gotten results, and we would love for them to join our team because we're trying to help other people get the same results. Why is that effective? Because when you have been impacted by our workout programs or supplements, again, it's like the movie. It's like a good movie. You want to share it with people. You want to help people. And people that have used our programs, that's a natural instinct for them. So see how you can incorporate all of that into the conversation. And then you simply need to give them a business card. Say, here's my information. If you'd like more information, contact me. We'd love for you to join our live webinar. We share more about the information. You can send them a video email, but you can follow up at that point and close things up. Do you want
me to share my story from today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I have a fun story, and Doug and Missy, our administrator, are both witnesses of this. It was very fun. I always park my car in our garage, always, with the garage door shut. But today, I had got home and I knew I was going to be leaving shortly, so I just left my car in the driveway. And we had, there was a company that was painting address numbers on everybody's curbs. So the guy came to finish up today and collect his money. And he rang the doorbell, and I went outside and paid him his money, took a look at the curb, and I said, "It looks great, thank you so much." And he looked at my car, and I have a Beachbody license plate. He looked at my car, and he said, "Hey, what does your license plate mean? Is that Beachbody?" And I said, "Yeah, it is." I said, "Have you heard of P90X?" And he said, Yeah. And he kind of starts laughing. And he said, is Beachbody like the diet part of that? And I said, no, Beachbody is the company. My husband and I are online fitness coaches for Beachbody. P90X is one of our products. And he goes, oh, I said, do you have P90X? Have you tried it? And this is a funny response. He goes, well, I used to, but my wife and I split up, and she took it with her.
It's part of the. It was part of her.
Part of the settlement. She got the P90X. He got the house. So anyway, and so I said, well, hey, if you ever want to try it again, you know who to come contact. So anyway, that was my little exposure for today. But a Beachbody license plate did it too. So.
Yeah, and you never know. You never know how it's going to work. So just be prepared for those instances and those moments. We can talk about more. But this is the scenario of how we talk to people that we don't know. Mm-hmm. This is, if you want to write down something, this is the tech. When someone asks you, because when you meet somebody new, right, the first thing that they ask you is, or you ask them, and then you brought up a good point. They haven't asked you, ask them first. But what do you do for a living? And if they haven't asked you, you ask them, mm-hmm. because they're 9 times out of 10 say, what do you do for? And here's our response to that, because it will happen with anybody that you meet. The first thing, like Tammy said earlier, is I'm a fitness coach. Well, why do we say that? Because every time we say that, people respond the exact same way. What is that? Mm-hmm. Our next response back to them, just like Tammy did today, have you heard of P90X? Bring something into the conversation that everybody knows about in the community. Okay, so have you heard of P90X? And 9 times out of 10 they're going to say, absolutely, I've heard of P90X. Somebody has it, they have it, they've always wanted to get it, they've seen it on TV, and so forth. So as the conversation goes, it's really simple. You have, like I was getting my iPhone at the store several weeks ago, and talking to the guy that was helping me out, and went through this whole conversation. He talks about P90X. He said, yeah, man, I've always wanted, I used to be really fit, and now I want to get fit. I said, well, that's really great. And he kind of went back to typing, and he said, well, what does that mean? I said, well, we're a networking company, and we're always looking for people to join our team, mm-hmm. because we're trying to help people with their health and fitness. Kept typing, and he looked up, handed me his card, and said, hey, can we talk after I get off work tonight? And he signed up to become a coach. He's an Emerald coach, and that goes on all the time. Mm-hmm. It's not, but you need to know how to be able to share a simple response. So always let them know that you're looking for people to join your team. It literally can be that short. But anyway, I'm jumping out of context here. Help people getting healthy and fit with a company called Beachbody. That needs to be the response, because once they know if it's P90X, then they'll associate other things with it. Beachbody, Insanity, Slim and Six, Turbo Jam. You can bring those names up, mm-hmm. again, providing more credibility. And then always sharing with them that you're always looking for people to join their team, because, again, that brings up the response of, what do you mean join your team? And that's where you can share, hey, my vision and our focus is to help people get fit and earn an income at the same time. And people are always interested. And that's the point where you hand them a card. And if you want to use the technique that you don't have time to explain it, which a lot of people, I have one coach that's in our downline organization. He always throws up on people, and he knows that. So his technique is, he starts the process like this, and he goes, you know what? If you want to know more about it, I'm going to talk too much, and I'm going to blow it for you. So here's a webinar address. Watch this webinar, and back in touch. And that's how he's built his business. He's a diamond coach. Mm-hmm. So again, just being aware of the situation and providing that opportunity in natural conversation works. It works for us all the time. The guy that painted our house a couple weeks ago, same conversation. I mean, we can go on and on and on, because that conversation always comes up about, what do you do for a living? Mm-hmm. And that's been one of the top things that we use in sharing the Beachbody opportunity as we're out and about.
And also, if they don't ask you, what do you do for a living, ask them first. And after they share with you, their natural response is going to be, what do you do for a living?
Very good. So the other things that we want to talk about tonight as we wrap this up is social media. You know, social media is big. It's a great opportunity for you to stay in touch with friends, reconnect with past friends, make new friends. It's also a great way to share the Team Beachbody opportunity. But here's what we want you to consider about this. I don't know if you know about Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. if you don't know, I would encourage you to at least get on those sites and begin the process of getting your own accounts with those services, because they can be a tremendous business builder in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I want to encourage you to do is this: don't just get on there and start, 5,000 times a day selling Beachbody stuff, because that turns people off when that's all they get from you. Here's what I want you to do: just watch the boards sometime, and then find those things that intrigue you, that cause you to stop for a second, read it, and then respond, and then use that, whatever that format of that, the comment was, to then begin to build your business, okay, that will intrigue people. Don't stalk people or posts for potential businesses, for your business. In other words, don't be like, you see somebody goes, man, I'm feeling really bad today, I need to lose some weight. Boom, there's 20 Beachbody coaches. Man, I got a great way for you to lose weight. Go to P90X. Go to my website. That's not what it's about. That's the icky thing that we don't like. It's about relationship. So don't be a stalker, okay? Same thing if you're in Walmart. Don't be a stalker. You corner the person you want to talk to. Trust me, people have been taught those techniques. That's not what we're about. And then the experts, and we've had experts talk to us about social media. They always say that you should only do one obvious business posting for about every 5 to 10 postings that you do, so that it doesn't look like that's all you're there for is business. Share your life. Share quotes. Share about how you can do simple things like, I've lost 5 pounds doing Shakeology and I love it. Or I'm about ready to go make my Shakeology balls. Is that what they are? Shakeology balls? Oh no, that's
I don't know. Ask Jack.
That's what's all over the internet now. Shakeology balls, right? I can't wait. I'm going to go work out. It's the best thing I do all day. Little comments like that about life that allow people to respond, and as they respond, then you can share the opportunity. But not blatantly. Doing obvious business postings are good once in a while, but let people know that you're a real live human being. Yeah. And build a relationship and share those opportunities as well. The other thing we want to talk about is dealing with objections, okay? People are going to say no. That's okay. Our opportunity is not for everybody. We tell that on our webinars. We're just glad you're getting information about this. It might be for you. It might not be for you, and that's okay. It's like the wall there. If you take the objections and if you take the no's and you cause it to deter you of where you want to go, guess what? You're going to take the right and left blue lines there. But if you want to get to your goal and you want to achieve your dreams and your why is strong enough, you're going to jump the wall. You're going to keep moving on. You don't quit because somebody says no, because I'm telling you right now, as a new coach, people are going to say no, and that's okay. The cool thing about it is I've had people that have said no come back, and they either purchase product or sign up to become a coach. I said no to Carl Deichler, okay? I came back, and I'm a coach, all right? So people are going to say no. Just get used to it, because this is the reality. Would you go through 10 no's to get one yes? Would you? Would you go through 10 no's to get one person signed to become a coach? Would you go through 20, 30, 40? It goes back to what is your why. If your why is strong enough, you'll do it. If it's not, you probably won't, okay? So establish that why and realize that there are going to be no's along the way. And you're going to come across objections too. People will be kind of interested, but then they'll be smart alecky, or they'll throw out some weird objections, or they'll throw out some really good objections, okay? So we're going to talk about that. But before I do, here's another good point. Don't create objections in your head, all right, that keep you from sharing. People will object themselves out of sharing it with people, right? Well, they're going to think this is a pyramid thing. I hear that all the time. And I say, how many times have you been asked if this is a pyramid thing? And they go, never, okay? That is the number one thing. People are going to think this is a pyramid. Well, guess what? You've just objected yourself right out of the conversation, because the reality is you're not going to have that question hardly at all. Once in a while you do, and we'll talk to you now about how to deal with it. This is the technique. If somebody objects, okay, the first thing you need to do is you need to relax, because you get defensive, right? What do you mean this is a pyramid thing? What do you mean this is one of those schemes? Relax, take a breath, and then ask them the question back. Sounds like you've had experience with a pyramid scheme. What's it been? Let them share, right? Let them talk about themselves. And they're going to open up and tell you all kinds of fun little crazy things. Or they will make things up, which is also fun to hear too. But let them share. Listen to what they're saying. Don't think about your response. Don't be offended. Listen to them. And then when they get done, empathize with them and say, I understand that. I've been there. Because I have been. I've been in other network marketing things that were just not the way we thought they should be. And I understand that. Empathize with them. And then share with them why you think his Beachbody is different. You don't have to prove to them anything. And you don't have to pressure them into doing anything. So relax, ask, listen, and then share. And then offer alternatives, because some objections are real good objections. For instance, somebody may say, you know what, I like the idea, but I just don't have the money. Mm-hmm. And that's a reality for people. So empathize with them and say, listen, I understand that too. One of the reasons we did get involved, and you can write this down, one of the reasons why we did get involved is we knew there was a tremendous potential to earn an income. And now it's provided a full-time income for my wife and me. And so I truly understand where you are. Then provide alternatives. You know, maybe we could talk about how you could free up some money. So, for instance, do you go out to eat a lot? Well, 2, 3, 4 times a week. And how much does that cost each time? Oh, maybe 20 or 30 bucks. There you found 40 to 50 bucks in a week that they could possibly reserve, right, to help build their Beachbody business. So provide alternatives that they can find to free up that money. The other one that's the main objection that's a good one is, I just don't have time. Because life is busy. Again, empathize with them, realize, and share with them. Like for us, I wanted free time back. That was the motivation for me to do this, because I didn't have time, right, with my family. And so this is why I did build my Beachbody business. And show them how, you know, maybe give them an example of how you freed up your time to build the business, and then offer to help them as an alternative. Find maybe an hour or 2 a week that they could free up. So it's giving them examples, it's sharing life, it's sharing what you've done and what you're passionate about as well, and offering those alternatives. And then the last one is the pull away opportunity. Pull it away. If somebody really is kind of pressuring it, the reality is they're kind of interested. And that's what I found out. And so if somebody is saying, well, maybe this is one of those business things where they take advantage of whatever, and you walk through this whole process, just pull away. And it's the funniest thing. So try it sometime just for fun. But just say, you know what, I understand, I realize that this business really is probably not for you. The reaction that for them is defensive. What do you mean it's not for me? And then they start asking questions again. Okay, so that pull away technique is also a good one, because it's a viable one. It's a true one. Because if it's getting heated at all, you've got to remember it's about your relationship. And if it's about the relationship, nothing should get in the way. Just stop it. You know, pull it away and just say, you know, I don't think this is for you. Same thing when you're talking to people, those first 5 people. Say, I'm not trying to pressure you on anything. I don't want this to get in the way of our relationship. I really just would like your opinion with people. Okay, that's it. Important next steps I think you need to follow in this process. Explore and become more familiar with the game plan training section that we talked about earlier in your online office. Again, under news. Download that training for success guide in the game plan training section. Become familiar with those third-party tools, because they'll come in handy when you're building the business. Begin doing your exposures, 2 or more a day, okay, as you're living life out and about, and then do something from what you've learned today. Will be very productive for you in the future. So is there anything else you want to add before we Attaboy! Hey! Well, congratulations. You've completed this is session number 5. And our last one, we'll keep rotating these sessions in training. If you do have questions, we encourage you to contact your coach, obviously, to discuss those questions that you might have. And thank you again for joining us tonight. We do these training webinars every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time at this address. We also do our opportunity webinars Sunday nights, 9 o'clock, at a different address there at FitzFit 1. And we would love for you to join us. They're designed for you and your team and your potential coaches and guests to jump on board, listen to what we have to say, and share the opportunity at the same time. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.